Hi everyone, I'm Steven, and this is the Stephen Washington Experience, and you and I are having a heart-mind moment. Let's take a couple of breaths together. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and exhale out through the mouth. Let's take another breath in, and exhale out. So this morning, you guys, I feel so compelled to make a video and deliver this message that I'm still in my pajamas. I haven't washed my face or brushed my teeth or anything on this Friday morning. But yeah, I just feel really called to speak on happiness today. This idea of happiness and when should we make a decision to choose it, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So this is what's going on in my brain today. This idea of putting off being happy or your happiness, expressing your happiness, exploring your happiness, pursuing your happiness until something, some person, place, or thing shows up. You know, you ever thought about, oh, you know, when this happens, then I'll be happy. Like, when I get this job, then I'll be happy. Or when this person shows up, oh, I'll be happy. Or when so-and-so does this or does that, I'll be happy. Yeah, it's such a strange thing that we do to ourselves. It's such a strange thing. I think back to when I was thinking about moving to California. So I moved to California, I think in 2011. And when I moved here from New York, I was so desperate for change. I really needed to get out of New York. The energy of the city, as much as I love it, was really wearing me down. And so the opportunity to move to California presented itself in the most perfect way. And you know, at that time I also wanted to go back to school. But a really big factor in my leaving New York and moving on from that life to a new life was because I was convinced that the person that I would fall in love with and someday marry was not in New York. I was convinced that this person was somewhere else and quite possibly here in California. And so I, you know, packed my bags and I gave away, you know, pretty much almost everything that I owned, and I moved to California and started a new life and started a new job and worked my way into a graduate program for Chinese medicine and all of that, and started going on dating websites because I wanted to meet someone. And I really was determined to connect with someone, and it didn't happen on the timetable that I thought it would happen, and it was very challenging for me. It was very challenging for me. The loneliness that I felt at that time was so palpable. It sometimes felt like loneliness was a person and it was sitting in the room with me. That's what it felt like. And there were nights when I would, you know, sit in my room and cry because I just didn't know how else to handle the feelings that were coming up for me. Because there was a part of me that thought that, you know, I will be happier when this person shows up. My life will feel more fulfilling if and when this person would show up. And it's quite an interesting place to be, because I never thought of myself as being someone who would put my happiness on someone else like that. And it was an interesting experience hitting that rock bottom around that, and I hit a rock bottom. There was a point when yeah, I mean, a lot of you know that I'm in recovery, and there was a point when I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stay sober if I didn't meet someone and this loneliness would end. Yeah, there were some days when I just wasn't sure. You know, I wasn't committed to just running out there and taking a drink, but I just wasn't sure because it was just so painful. And then something happened that some still small voice within me said, Stephen, do not wait to be happy. Don't put it off. Do it now. Live your life now. It's gonna be okay. Um, yeah, it was such a bizarre time. It was such a bizarre experience. And when I heard that still small voice telling me to not put it off, be okay with being where you are, exactly as things were, in full acceptance. Be okay with that. And if I could find a way to be okay with that, then everything would be fine. Um, and I gotta say, yeah, it did. It turned out just fine. And you know, the funny thing about it, once I decided to be happy now, not put it off until the future, not wait until someone showed up. The funny thing was, in a few months, maybe about 5 to 6 months, my partner Lee showed up, which is always the way. Which is always the way. Um, so, yeah, life's funny. Life's funny. Yeah, I just felt inspired to share that message, and and you know, happiness is an elusive thing. Um, some days we feel it more than others, but I think it's possible to live a life where there's just a base level of happiness that, you know, that's with you at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week, and somewhere between those 2 points, it can go up or it can go down a bit. But I do believe it's been possible to do that. It's possible to do that. That's been my experience. Um, so, you know, if you are someone who is putting off your happiness until a later date, I want to say to you right now, don't do it. Don't do it. Somehow, some way, find a way to to live that aspect of your life today. You know, look around you, see all the beauty that's around you and what you have in your life today, and be grateful for it. You know, there's so many things to be grateful for. I could write a gratitude list, and I could just, you know, sometimes I would write 5 things to be grateful for. You know, I could write 20, if not more, I think, if I really looked at life. And I think that's a big key component to happiness and being happy. So that's quite a mouthful. I've said a lot on this Friday morning in my pajamas. That shirt that says "Be Here Now." Anyway, I hope that was helpful to some of you. Again, this is a Heart Mind Moment, and I'm Stephen, and thanks for spending this time with me. Many blessings. Bye.